This may be a little risky, but we are concentrating the majority of our forces to the north here. We have so far been able to amass almost 131,000 troops. If we do include a few stragglers here that we do also have moving to the north, you can see that we have 160,000 troops. If we check out our statistics here, we can see that we have 321. So that would be essentially half of our entire army that's active in the field. And we will be taking those troops. And what you can also see here is that we not only have right of way, but we also have shared map with West Kansas here, another AI miner. Not looking at Utah in this situation, but North Dakota has a few valuable provinces not too far away from the border with the AI, along with his capital. And his forces right now are concentrated in the west. They're concentrated in the east. The territory here with the AI would not be considered enemy territory, so we wouldn't have any kind of penalties. We would be able to launch an offensive against our primary rival in the area. As you can see that North California is struggling. Utah, he's there. He's probably the number 2. But the number 1 is this coalition of Minnesota, South Dakota, and Missouri. We've destroyed one coalition already. I think we're going to do the same thing here. And out of the 3 of them, South Dakota is certainly the larger threat. He has access to a good amount of grain, a good amount of material production, and with his recent conquests, he's been able to expand further to include more materials and more grain. But unfortunately, he is struggling on energy, meaning that as this offensive goes by, we will be trying to hit some of his core territories. If we hit a lot of his core energy production, we would be able to cripple, or at least potentially cripple his economy. He may have reserves that he would be able to buy energy with. Unfortunately, having a deficit in energy, losing a bunch of provinces, is probably the best problem to have of the 3 types of resources, as energy, and especially coal, is extremely cheap on the market, at least at the moment, compared to the other 3. So he may be able to float himself across. I don't know. It's risky, but I'm going to do it. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. I just don't believe that he would be able to concentrate enough forces in time to stop or to be able to defend against our offensive. He doesn't have any fortifications on the border, and I don't plan on alerting him, which is why we're grouping up in the south here. We're going to time our attack to go and hit and arrive at Colby here when I'm back online in the morning, allowing me to proceed with the invasion right away, hopefully catching him entirely off guard. South Dakota does have a larger force than we do, and they have traded extremely well. But is that enough? Is it enough? Is it enough to have 2 strong allies, I believe he might be in 3rd place in terms of territory, have the largest army in the game, have a lot of materials for infrastructure? I don't want to give this guy the opportunity to expand and grow. As you can see, we're pretty contained at this point. Once we finish South Mexico and some of these other Mexican states, we can't go west anymore. As much as I would have loved to have some of these territories outside of the double wood, I would be bogged down with all of these additional single provinces that I don't necessarily need. You have some AI miners here, but then that really just leaves Missouri and North Dakota plus Utah. Should I go after Utah? Then I bet you the coalition here would take this opportunity to attack me. Should I go against Missouri, that would buy North Dakota additional time to also go after me. But if we hit South Dakota first, when he's not paying attention, when he least expects it, and when he's stretched out so thin on both sides of his border, and we're able to cut right across into core undefended territory, I'll take the trades. Even if we're able to trade out relatively evenly, if the fighting is going on his territory, I would still consider that a win. And at any point, if we're able to just break the initial line, we can start sending armored cars over to Scottsbluff, to Woodlake, to O'Neill. We're going to hit them hard. I would have loved to have taken Marco as part of this offensive, but unfortunately, with it being day 9, yes, day 9, closing in on day 10, we just don't have any of the regular tanks out. So his bonuses, unfortunately, would not apply to any of our units. Even if we had them at level 10, it wouldn't help us at all. Whereas Hank would be able to provide us with at least that 5% infantry attack and defense boost, which will be nice considering that the majority of our force will in fact be infantry. We aren't able to regroup with our large cavalry and armored car force. We do get one armored car, so that'll be nice. I would have loved to have included Marco, but you can only have one hero in the army. I know he would have acted as a nice armored car / tank with his 60 hit points and pretty good speed, but unfortunately you just kind of can't mingle them. And I really don't want to be splitting off armies. Maeve is nice for the speed boost, but I don't believe she'll make a big difference at this point. I would rather keep her near the front to be able to spawn additional units should the need arise. Oklahoma keeps reinforcing the border. I think we've got a solid defense at the moment with additional reinforcements coming in, but we will want to improve fortifications as Missouri expands this border. Resources have been pretty good. We've been able to fix our food deficit, and grain at the moment is more expensive in the market, but I do want access to Fiona's infantry deployment ability, so I'm just going to change the slider right here so we can hopefully hit that 450 minimum here. We have the cash for it. I'd love to also meet the fish requirements. I could certainly use more infantry here. And all of the infantry that she does spawn will be at 100% morale, which is also great. Iron ore, we have a pretty big surplus here, and I'm pretty sure this should take over to 900, or at least more than 900 per hour for the next day, with all the construction that we have going on, plus all of the recently conquered provinces. At the moment, we'd be able to buy an additional railroad, a factory, and we may just do that as soon as a lot of our other production is completed. Energy, we have a surplus. We have a massive oil surplus at this point, but we are struggling on coal and gas. Gas, I'm just kind of trying to keep a little neutral here, but coal, we have been trying to purchase additional resources from the market every now and then for a little bit of cash. Unfortunately, some people are trying to sell off some coal at a larger price, which means we weren't able to get any buyers at our 1.2 thousand price, so I'm actually going to cancel that order, just recoup the cash. I don't see any really good deals on wood, though I would probably still buy this at 13.2. And as you can see, food is becoming way more expensive. Unfortunately, at this stage, we just need a lot of additional cash and material, so we're just using the surplus of food to go ahead and fund our other purchases and some of our espionage as well. Will we survive or will we not? And with that, we will see you all on the next episode.